It's summer camp, midnight. Most of the cabins are asleep when this kid wakes up to a sound. Hey, did you hear that? The sound is crying, somewhere in the woods. It's not a normal cry either, like full-on sobbing, muttering. Is that an animal? Dude, I think it's a person. Well, these two campers sneak out with their flashlights and start searching through the trees. Hello? Anybody out here? Hello, we hear the crying. They find her, a camp counselor sitting on a rock, barefoot, crying. He said he loved me, but then he kissed Jenna on the dock like I don't exist. They're campers and she's a counselor. This is not their business. Do you want us to get like another counselor or something? I can call some... No, I'm fine. Don't tell anybody you saw me. What the heck? The next morning, she's at breakfast and she's acting normal, like she wasn't just scream-crying into a pine tree 8 hours before this. But that rock that she was sitting on, they called that rock Breakup Rock for years after that. This happened in elementary school. A kid gets called out in class. Tyler, that is not appropriate. Go to the office. Then without a word, he stands up, sprints out of the classroom, and runs straight out the front school doors. And just like that, he's gone. The principal gets called. Yeah, we got a runner. They can't find him anywhere. 15 minutes later, the school's on full lockdown. People are starting to actually panic at this point. They call the kids' parents. They come, they're furious. They're freaking out. Where's my son? Where's my son? Police cars surround the building. A helicopter is hovering above. A freaking helicopter. They start searching the woods behind the school. Hours go by. A SWAT team-looking unit shows up, and they find him a mile away, sitting in a lonely patch of grass, eating a Snickers. Tyler, what are you doing out here, man? I got stressed, and the Snickers, it helps me relax. I feel much better now, by the way. They escort him back. The kid got suspended and his parents had to take him to therapy for a bit. Had to figure out why he would do this in the first place, but still, that day is still known as the Great Tyler Lockdown. That's insane. I ate half my meatloaf, but she said it wasn't enough. So one day, this kid goes through the lunch line. He gets his lunch tray, meatloaf, peas, chocolate milk, all that stuff, which meatloaf for lunch is crazy, but anyway. He eats a little bit of it. Obviously, it's not that great, so he throws it in the garbage. But a lunch monitor sees this happen and walks over, like she caught him shoplifting. You're wasting school resources. If you're not gonna eat, don't take food. I wasn't hungry. Well, next time you're eating alone, she writes him up on the spot, and the next day he has lunch detention. He walks in expecting to be alone, but there's another kid already sitting there. Very similar story. He didn't finish his corn and got written up by the same lunch monitor. Both of them go home that day and tell their parents. And the parents, they do not take this lightly. Calls get made, emails are sent. Apparently, this lunch monitor has been doing this all year, punishing kids for not cleaning their trays, for not eating every last bite. By the end of the week, she is pulled from the lunchroom. Next week, there's another lady taking her spot. New lunch monitor and a totally better vibe. From then on, if you weren't hungry, you could just throw your food out. What a concept. That lady's insane. As your president, I will eat this banana. So this kid, let's call him Luke. He's in 8th grade, zero political ambition, and zero cares about school elections. One day after gym, his friend is like, bro, you should run for class president. Why? I don't know, because nobody else is. Turns out, signups were closing that day, and nobody else decided to run. So Luke, being Luke, he goes to the front office and he puts his name down. The next day, the announcements come on. Class elections this Friday. We have Luke, just Luke is running for president. And everyone just starts clowning this whole situation. People are making campaign posters. Vote for Luke. Or don't. It doesn't matter. He'll still win. Or Luke 2024. Bare minimum effort. And he's leaning into it. He's wearing a wrinkled suit jacket to school. Making campaign videos of him eating Lunchables in silence. Well, finally election day hits. And obviously Luke is elected to be the class president. And there's a little assembly at the end of the day. Well, Luke walks up to give a victory speech. He walks up to the mic. He's holding a banana like it's a trophy, peels it halfway, and he just starts eating it into the mic. The whole cafeteria is losing it. Even the teachers are laughing. The principal's standing there, just trying to act like this is normal. Okay. And just like that, Luke is the official class president. He doesn't even know what his frickin' duties are. Well, the next week, the school council handed him a binder that said, School Student Government Responsibilities. And it was thick, like 3 inches thick. Meetings, proposals, school fundraiser events. Luke just looked at it, and that's when it hit him. He definitely made a massive mistake. This is everything. Did they ever find out who did it? Nope. And it drove him insane. So there's this one principal. Old school, super strict. Hates nonsense, hates funny business, he's got zero chill. Well, one day he walks into his office and there's a single crouton sitting on his desk. Dead center. No note, no explanation, just sitting there. He doesn't think too much of it, so he tosses it in the garbage. The next day, another one. Same spot, still no message. Day after that, again. He starts asking around. All right, who's messing with me? Huh? Who's the crouton person? Huh? No one knows. So he checks the cameras, but there's no camera inside his office, just the hallway outside of the door. In that hallway, there's tons of kids coming in and out of the office all day. Teachers, office aides, too many faces, there's no way to tell who left it in there. So he tries to stop it. He begins locking the door when he's not there. He still gets a crouton. He moves his desk, still gets a crouton. He leaves a sticky note. Whoever this is, please stop. The next day, a new crouton, sitting on a napkin that says, respectfully. This goes on for months and he never figures it out. Never gets an answer and never catches this crouton person. And then one day, it just stops. Nothing. The desk stays empty. No note, no crumb, no crouton. He retires the next year, but the day he left that job, he put a framed photo on the wall of the crouton sitting on a napkin, and below it, it said, unsolved. That picture is still hanging in that office to this day. Does he, ever talk? Nah, not once. All year. So this new kid transfers to the school halfway through the year. Middle school. Kinda tall, quiet, doesn't talk to anybody. At first, people think, well, maybe he's just shy. But then weeks go by, and nothing. Not a word. No volunteering, no answering questions, not even a here during roll call. He does every assignment, he scores high on tests, but still, not a single word. No, it gets to the point where people just stop trying. He's the quiet kid, and that's it. Then one day, it's May. There's a sub in math class. She goes down the roll sheet, gets to his name, Evan. And for the first time all year, he goes, here. The whole room freezes. Did he just, yep, out of his, And that's when his cousin, who's been in the same class the entire time, pulls out a crumpled $50 bill out of his backpack and hands it to this kid. Turns out, back in January, they made a deal. Alright, so you're transferring to my school after the holidays. I bet you can't go the rest of the year without saying a word. Well, I bet you I can. They made a frickin' bet. If he had lost the bet, he would have had to eat a raw onion. $50 and his cousin buys him a meal from Cane's. Good deal to me. So this one guy's at Lowe's, and he's shopping solo. DIY plumbing situation. He's in the aisle looking for parts. He's totally zoned in. When, out of nowhere, he kind of tweaks and has a little freak out moment. Turns out, it was a yellow lab. The dog sniffed him. That's it, just a little snout boop. Nothing more. But this guy spins around like, what the hell, man? And the dog owner is like, you'll be alright, man, chill. Now, any normal person would have taken a breath and been like, okay, yeah, you're right. Hi, what a good boy, you know? But this guy loses it. That is not your call to make. Don't tell me I'll be alright. Are you kidding me? He's just full-blown going off on this dude. And the guy calmly says this. You know Lowe's is dog-friendly, right? He sniffed you, man. Big deal. You're just being a jackass now. And our guy says this right before he walks away. Off. He grabs his stuff. He storms to customer service. I want to file a complaint. About what? A dog sniffed me. So yeah, he left mad, still very much heated, over a dog sniff. Imagine being that guy. So this girl's about to start high school, 9th grade. New school, new classes, and she just got her course selection sheet for the next year. She fills it out on her own. She just picks what she wants to take. You know, she doesn't want to overwhelm herself, which I totally get. It's her first year in a brand new school. It's high school, you know, and she's just trying to get through the transition without drowning in homework. Yeah, I would do the same. A few days later, her mom finds the form, and she loses it. Why did you pick all the easiest courses? What happened to preparing for college? Mom, I picked all the easy ones because I don't want to drown in work. It's high school, and I'm not even sure if I want to go to university yet. She didn't say she's dropping out. She didn't say that she's never going to learn again. She just said, I'm 13, Mom, I just don't know. But that's not enough for her mom. Her mom is accusing her of slacking, saying she's just trying to avoid homework. Then she notices that she didn't sign up for music class, and she flips out again. Why didn't you sign up for music class? You are so good at music. Because if I take music, I have to join the band, and band practice is at 5 a.m., Mom. So? She's 13. She doesn't want honors classes and pre-sunrise saxophone rehearsals. The mom ended up forcing her to take the classes that she wanted her to take, which, in my opinion, is so messed up. And I just want to tell her, don't be confused when your daughter doesn't want to talk to you in 5 years. It started with one kid and a toaster. One day, this one kid brings a toaster to school, like an actual toaster. He plugged it into the wall outlet by the lockers and began making Pop-Tarts before first period. Morning, bro, what you doing? Oh, I'm making my breakfast. S'mores Pop-Tarts today. Is that your toaster? Absolutely. Well, this pre-class breakfast situation began to grow pretty quickly. By the next week, different groups of kids had brought in their own toaster. They were cooking up Eggos, jelly toast. People were bringing flasks of syrup. One kid brought in one of those electric flat iron stoves. Soon, every morning throughout the school, there were entire breakfast zones, each zone cooking a different breakfast item. And it was kind of awesome. These zones were behind the bleachers, in the band room, in a corner of the library. Teachers were finding pancake batter in the sinks. It was a mess. Well, quickly, the school shut it all down, but the smell of cinnamon lingered for a while. Then, my friends, on the last day of school, during morning announcements, which they always had a student do, people heard this. Oh my God. Did you guys smell that? The sound was the sizzling of bacon coming through the intercom in every room of the school, and people were beginning to smell the bacon. And right before they were able to turn off the intercom, everybody heard this. You can never take our breakfast. Long live breakfast. That kid wanted to end the year a legend, so he cooked bacon on the intercom to get back at the school for shutting down their breakfast clubs. He ended the bully with one sentence. This happened in 10th grade, one of those chill Fridays. Our assembly ended early, everyone's hanging out in the cafeteria. Then you hear it. Bro, what even is your outfit? It's Dylan, popular kid, big mouth, always has something to say. Well, he's talking to this kid named Micah. Micah's wearing a hoodie and brown corduroys. It's a chill outfit to me, you know? Where'd you get those pants? Grandma's closet? All of Dylan's cronies laugh. Micah looks up, doesn't flinch, doesn't smile. He just says this. How many days in a row are you gonna wear those sweatpants? Everything stops, even Dylan gets quiet. Like, legit question, 5, 6 days? Somebody behind Micah says, it's been at least a week. Dylan looks down, gray Nike sweatpants. It's true. They're just comfy, man. Oh, got it. Just checking. Dylan walks away and Micah goes back to eating his Cliff Bar. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you gotta wear sweatpants a couple days in a row, but if you're gonna throw shots at somebody else's outfit, you better expect them to throw some shots back. That Monday, Dylan shows up to school in jeans, and he doesn't say another word about anyone's outfit ever again. Yo, is anybody home? Oh look, cookies. So when this kid was in school, his parents worked late. So after school, he had to walk home, an hour and a half every time his parents worked late. He hated riding the bus, so he said he'd rather walk. So because of this, he would always try to hang out at a friend's house who lived nearby, and just get picked up from there later in the night when his parents were off. Well, one day he's walking by that friend's house, and he decides to give him a call. No answer, but he remembers where they keep the spare key. For some reason, he can't explain why. He grabs the key and he lets himself in. Starts walking around the house, calling out for his friend. Yo, you home? Hello? Silence. Nobody's there. So he goes to the fridge, makes himself a sandwich, sits down on the couch, and starts watching TV. About 15 minutes in, he realizes, oh my God, I just broke into my friend's house. What am I doing? And it's not just anybody's house. His friend is Russian, and his dad is a scary Russian man who had tons of firearms. He panics, he puts the key back, and he runs out of the house. He gets home safely. His friend calls him back later that day, and he didn't suspect a thing. And he has kept that secret every single day since then. That's crazy. Wait, forks cost money now? Yeah, and Isaiah's making a fortune off of it. So here's what happened. At this one school, it was a pretty small school. In their lunchroom, they used real forks. Well, these forks started to go missing. Like every day, kids are accidentally tossing them out, leaving them on the ground, or straight up taking them home. Finally, the lunch lady snaps. That's it, new rule. Forks cost 50 cents. If you want one, you pay, and you better return it. Basically, it's a rental fee for your fork. Well, this kid named Isaiah, he sees an opportunity. The next day, he pulls up to lunch with a backpack full of Costco plastic forks. One fork, 25 cents. Two for 40 cents. Tell your friends. It spreads fast. He's got bundles, different colors, custom sizes, some with graphics on them that he calls limited edition. Yo, let me get 2 SpongeBob forks for my ravioli. Say less. The cafeteria staff notices this, and the principal steps in. Are you running an unauthorized utensil ring in my cafeteria? Well, sir, I'm just providing students with a better utensil option. Making pretty good money, too. He gets written up, they confiscate his inventory, and by Friday, the cafeteria stops charging for forks. But that never actually fixed the problem, because kids were still taking these forks home or accidentally throwing them away. Hey, what can you do? What can you do? No one has ever got 100% in my class. Oh yeah? Watch this. So there's this teacher that every single day brags that no one has ever got 100% in my class. My tests are just too hard. You know, and everyone just kind of tunes her out. But this one kid, let's call him Chris. Chris studies like crazy. He wants to prove her wrong, takes every quiz, takes every chance for extra credit. Final exams come, and he's locked in. He's done, turns it in, he's feeling very confident. The next day, the teacher passes out the exams. 98%? Damn, you did good. Almost too good. Were you cheating? I'm just kidding. My tests are hard. No, I mean I should have got 100%. Okay, settle down, alright? I'm serious. Pull out the answer key. See? Look, right there. Wrong and wrong. Chris looks at the two questions she marked wrong. Then he looks at her key. One of them is a trick question. The other answer on her key is just flat out wrong. My answer is right, miss. Your key's wrong. No, it's not. That's absolutely impossible. Chris grabs a textbook off her desk, flips open to the exact page he needs, slaps it down. Right there, paragraph 3. She leans over and reads it. Chris just smiles. So do I get my 100 or do you need me to grade the rest of the class as well? She doesn't say a word. She just crosses off the 98% and quickly scribbles 100% on his test. After that day, she never bragged about her tests being hard ever again. Did you just laugh? Yeah. You need to follow the rules. So this kid gets invited to his friend's house after school. It's his first time ever hanging out outside of class with this person. He gets there, it seems normal, parents seem chill, the living room smells like candles and soup. They all sit down to watch a movie, totally normal. About 10 minutes in, a funny scene happens, like genuinely funny. Oh, you smell like my dad. That's when the friend's mom pauses the movie. She turns to him and she goes, "Excuse me, did you ask me if it was okay to laugh?" The kid kind of sits there blinking. He thinks she's joking. She's not. I know this is your first time here, so I'll let it slide, but in this house, we don't laugh until someone gives permission. Okay? He looks at his friend and his friend just nods. The mom adds this. It just saves us from getting carried away. Laughter leads to chaos. Let's watch the movie. So they just keep watching. Then anytime something funny happens, he sits there dead silent, while his friend casually goes, "Requesting laugh? Approved." After that day, he never went back to that friend's house ever again. You canceled my birthday party? For a B+? Actions have consequences. So this one student got a B+ in math. Not too bad, right? Well, not according to his dad. The dad walks into the room holding the kid's report card. A B+? Are you kidding me? Dad, it's still above average. It's a really hard class. Well, it's not good enough. Give me your phone, now. Wait, what? No phone, and I'm canceling your birthday dinner. Yo, are you serious? Dead serious. The next morning, the dad emails the teacher, saying stuff like, "Why didn't you push my child harder? He's clearly capable of more. You're supposed to challenge him, not let him slack off." The teacher writes back, "Your son has the highest grade in class. He's the only one that got above a B. I'm actually very proud of him." His dad is crazy. The kid finds out about this email. He walks up to his dad and says, "So, can I have my phone back now and maybe my birthday?" The dad just stares at him and walks away. Happy birthday to me, I guess. What kind of club are you running here? The best kind. One day at this one school, this student figured out that you don't need a teacher sponsor to start a club. All you had to do was fill out a form, write a purpose, and show that there was student interest. This one kid, he invented a club that he called the Indoor Nature Appreciation Society. He said it was for students who loved nature but hated going outdoors. He made posters with stock photos of trees and waterfalls. He took fake meeting photos with his friends. He even listed fake officers. President, himself. Vice President, also himself. He submitted the paperwork and nobody questioned it. A week later, the club got approved. A month later, it got funded. A $500 budget. He spent all of this money on snacks, custom t-shirts, a giant banner with a fake logo, and a director's chair for himself for some reason. After a while, the principal pulled him aside and said, "There's no way this is a real club." He just shrugged and said, "I mean, we do appreciate nature, just from a distance." The best part is he would schedule actual events called observation hours. This is where they would drag 5 or more chairs and put it in front of a big window in the library, and they would all just sit there for 45 minutes, looking out the window. Look, a bird. Oh, nice catch. The principal, who was already suspicious, came by. "Okay, what exactly is this?" "Shh, we're appreciating." Yeah, eventually the club got shut down, but the t-shirts, They wore those almost every day for the rest of the year. This kid ran a genius hustle. So at this one school, if your phone ended up in the lost and found, it stayed there until the parents of that student picked it up. That was the rule. If they took your phone, you were not getting it back. Then this kid named Marcus starts a business. $10 and I'll get your phones back before 6th period. Bro, what? They're in the front office. Yeah, well, Marcus had an older cousin that worked in the front office. And every day during lunch, Marcus would go to the office to say hi to his cousin. And when he did that, his cousin would quietly hand him a phone wrapped in a napkin. Hey, what's up, cousin? Oh, hey, Marcus, hope you're having a good lunch. Here is your snack I brought you. Good man. And nobody noticed. He had a group chat, phone retrieval services. You would DM him what class you lost your phone in and what your phone case looked like. He even had tiers. $10 for standard pickups during lunch, $15 if you had to go to the office during class, it's a bit more risky, and $20 if you get caught again the next day. It became this underground thing. But here's the twist. Eventually the principal finds out about this. He made a deal. I won't punish you, but for this next week, every single time someone messages you to do this, give me their name. Fine. He became a freaking informant, and for that next week, he busted a lot of kids. Eventually, they found out that he had flipped and his business was completely washed. But still, I guess you gotta respect the hustle. Bro, the water fountain smells like a dead animal. Let me see. One time at this one middle school, the janitor was deep cleaning the cafeteria, and I guess he found a dead goldfish, like a full-on carnival prize goldfish floating in the mop bucket. Nobody knows how it got there, and for some reason, I'm not making this up, he shoves the goldfish down the drain of the water fountain. Like, just shoves it, jams it in there, and he just leaves it. And the next day, the water fountain starts spraying water that smells, well, fishy. It smells horrible. Kids are gagging in the hallways, teachers are covering their mouths walking to class. Yo, what is that smell? The admin of the school think it's a sewage pipe that burst. They call the county. They have someone come out. They shut down half the school by lunchtime. Meanwhile, one 6th grader starts taking empty water bottles and is bottling the water of this fishy fountain. And he starts selling it for $1 a bottle. He's calling it limited edition bottled school water. And kids are buying it just to dare each other to drink it. It was wild. He only made like $10, but still, you gotta respect the hustle on that, I guess. Anyway, they eventually decided to replace every single water fountain in that school. And after some investigating, they found a mushy, nasty, dead goldfish. And they had no idea what happened for the longest time, until one day that janitor confessed. That's the craziest story I've ever heard. Yo, Evan, can you do my homework for me? Yeah, 2 Kit Kat bars and you got a deal. This kid Evan was scary smart. Math, history, science, it didn't matter. He would get A's on everything, and he offered a service. If you needed your homework to be done, you would bring him candy, and that was that. He would do your homework. Yo, can you do my science worksheet for me? Bring me 3 Reese's cups and a Gatorade and you got a deal. Perfect. And Evan didn't just do the homework, he did the homework perfectly. Better than anyone could have done themselves. And word spread fast. By the end of the month, Evan had a stash of candy and drinks in a huge duffel bag that he kept under his bed. Snickers, Reese's, Airheads, Skittles, Gatorades, Monsters. Like, he had everything. It was way too much for just him to eat. So, he got another frickin' idea. You guys, this is how it works. You gotta follow these ideas, people. Anyway, at lunch, he starts selling the candy that he was given for doing kids' homework. And the price would depend on what candy he was selling. Like Reese's were more money, maybe like $2. Snickers were like $1. Gatorades were $1.50. He had a whole menu and he had them all priced out. And remember, this is pure profit. He didn't pay for this candy. Bro, why is Evan always eating Chick-fil-A for lunch now? Oh, it's because his business blew up. He's running both the candy and the homework market. He's killing it. Hey, what's up, Evan? What's up, buddy? Meanwhile, teachers started to get kind of suspicious, I guess. Not because of the candy or anything, but because all the kids in their class were like getting A's on every assignment now. Even the kids that were horrible at the subject. So many A's lately. Maybe I'm doing a good job. Or maybe Evan is just one hell of a businessman. Evan stayed clean. You know, he never got caught. And before you all say, well, if he didn't get caught, how do you know about this? Well, because he told me himself. And by the end of the year, he made over $700 from selling candy that he didn't even pay for. You gotta respect the hustle. Hey, what's in your bag? Justice and 5 deviled eggs. So this one school had this thing where students could bring in their own snacks to eat during their mid-morning study session. It was kind of like a study hall, but everybody was in like one area, I guess. Small town school stuff, you know. It was totally chill. As long as you weren't like throwing food or making a mess, nobody cared at all. Well, one mom had a problem. A big one, apparently. Her kid came home one day and told her that somebody sitting next to her was eating tuna and crackers. And she told her mom that the smell made her lose my appetite. It was gross. Also, low-key, I freaking love tuna. I'm not gonna lie to you guys here. Okay, tuna and crackers, it slaps. Alright, if you don't like tuna, that's fine. But hating on tuna lovers? Okay, I'm done. So the mom emailed the teacher. Hi, I would like to request that no odorous or ugly snacks be permitted during the mid-morning study period. Ugly snacks? This is what she meant by ugly snacks. Tuna, hard-boiled eggs, anything pickled, sardines, olives, blue cheese, strong-smelling beef jerky. The list went on and on and on. She ended it with, let's keep the school a pleasant place for everybody. Perfect. The teacher forwarded that email to the principal. The principal ignored it at first, but the mom kept pushing. She started emailing other parents. She was asking them to talk to their kids about bringing less offensive snacks. Well, this got back to the students, and the students were done with this. They thought this mom was being crazy. That Friday, a group of 7th graders showed up with the smelliest, most ugly snacks that they could find. Sardines, canned oysters, garlic hummus. One kid brought a whole onion. They called it Stink Snack Friday. The teacher tried to shut it down, but they weren't breaking any rules. Like, it's food. The next week, even more kids joined in. One kid found a local fruit dealer and brought in a durian. A durian! And those things freaking stink! Eventually, the principal sent a message home to all the parents via email. While students are welcome to bring food from home, we are encouraging less aromatic options moving forward. We'll see. But the damage was done. The kids won, and Stink Snack Friday became a tradition. So, when this guy was in high school, the school's bulldog statue, big metal full-on mascot, just vanished. Gone. Overnight. The next day, it was just an empty base, and rumors were spreading. The rival school took it. It's gotta be a senior prank. One teacher said it was melted for scrap. What a dumb rumor. Well, fast forward 15 years, this one guy was having a beer with his older brother. His older brother was a very quiet, low-profile guy in high school. When all of a sudden, his brother said, hey, remember that bulldog statue in high school? Yeah, I hit it with my truck. It was me. You what? Apparently, it was late at night. He was doing donuts in the school parking lot. And boom. Oh God. The bulldog goes flying off the platform. And instead of owning up to this, he panics. He grabs the statue and tosses it in his trunk like it's a frickin' body. He drives it out to the woods. There's this little bridge by their old house. He parks by it, takes the bulldog out of the trunk, walks to the bridge, and looks around. I'm sorry, buddy. And dumps it. Bulldog sinks to the bottom of the river. Gone forever. Honestly, that is legendary behavior. So this girl, Amy, she's 15, straight up running a business at her school. Like it's a full-on operation. She buys the snacks and drinks in bulk. She breaks them up and sells them individually at a markup. Classic black market school economy. She's been doing this for 2 years now, and she's not out here just hoarding the cash that she makes. She's buying stuff. She's using her profits to buy clothes, shoes, whatever she wants. She doesn't ask her parents for money, she earns it. And her mom, well, her mom is like, I mean, yeah, why would I stop her? You know, she's not selling anything illegal, her grades are fine, and I haven't had to buy her anything in months. I'm really proud of her. But the school? Oh no. They catch her and a few other snack dealers and boom, week of detentions. And they warn her, one more time and you're suspended. Please, okay. Now the dad's losing his mind. No, honey, this is serious, okay? She's risking her education. She needs to be grounded. And the mom's like, grounded for what? Capitalism? Like, for real, what are we doing here, you guys, you know? She's not disrupting class, she's not failing. In fact, she's doing better than she has before. She's not pushing anything shady. She's just really good at business. The mom says this, the school's obviously making something out of nothing. It's not like she's slinging crank behind the vending machines. And honestly, I get it. I understand, like, rules are rules, but let's be real here. Half these schools don't teach the kids anything useful anyways. Good for her, for respecting her own hustle. And if that was my school, I'd be asking for her supply chain. Big ups to Amy. Is that popcorn I smell? Room 114. Bring $1. Garlic cheddar just dropped. So this kid's school had a rule where you couldn't sell anything during school hours or on school grounds. And he wanted to start a business like many people do because it's the frickin' hustle, baby. Well, one year he got something for Christmas. It was a mini popcorn machine. So one day he brought it into school. It wasn't the big carnival one, it was one of those mini ones that you could put on a countertop. Well, on this day, he left it in the back of this empty classroom. The one that nobody used anymore. And he had an extension cord running from the popcorn machine to an outlet. Nobody noticed. And then he made signs to pass out. Free popcorn. Suggested donation $1. Room 114. At lunch, he'd leave the door open just enough. so people could smell the popcorn as they were walking towards the room. He had everything. He had cups, he had flavors, cheddar, garlic, ranch, even sweet chili. And what was genius was that he wasn't technically selling anything, so he couldn't really get in trouble. It's just popcorn. I offer it and they donate. Business boomed. He had his friends standing around the hallway and going through the lunchroom telling them that room 14 has free popcorn. He even had Tabasco sauce packets to level it up. And if you guys never put hot sauce in your popcorn, you're severely missing out. It is a snack, I'm telling you. They started calling room 14 the Pop Shack. Now, teachers did start to notice this, mostly because of the smell. Eventually, the principal tracked it down and headed to room 114. What is this? Free popcorn. Suggested donation $1. You want some? The vice principal paused. He looked around. There was even a tip jar. He was impressed. Honestly, smells pretty good. Yeah, I'll take a cup of this sweet chili, and then you guys can just carry on. Here's a 5. That was that. They let him keep doing what he was doing. The only rules were this: no smoke, no fire, and no mess. And they had to have a teacher nearby to check in every so often, which they all agreed to. That was very reasonable. And by the end of the year, this kid had earned over $600 in donations. That is legendary behavior.
তোমাদেরকে আমার পরিচয় মানুষ চিনে, তোমাকে চেনে, ইউ আর দ্য ফাদার অফ ম্যাক্স দ্য প্র্যাঙ্কস্টার, ঠিক আছে? তোমাকেও মা
বিরাট স্টার।
বাট আমি চাইবো আমার ফার্স্ট মিটিংটা অনেক গ্লোরিয়াস হোক। আর যদি সে ফ্রড হয় তাহলে কিন্তু ওর খবরই আছে, একদম থাপড়ায় সব দাঁত ফেলে দিব। যাই হোক, দেখা যাক কি হয়। আমার লেট হচ্ছে দোস্ত, রাখি। হ্যাঁ,
টিন্ডার থেকে তুমি এর আগে আর কারোর সাথে কফি ডেট করেছো আমি ছাড়া?
হোয়াট? আমাকে কি দেখে মনে হয় চিপ? আমি এক্সক্লুসিভ ভার্সন, ওকে? আই এম নট অ্যাভেলেবল। কি ছিল? কি ছিল?
প্র্যাঙ্ক ছিল, বিশেষ হচ্ছে না? এই যে
Prank
আই সুইট, আই সুইট, ওই যে দেখেন মনোপড নিয়ে দাঁড়ায় আছে, এই যে আরেকজন ইফতে, একদম একদম গুলি করে দিব মাথার মধ্যে, ফুটা করে একদম এদিক দিয়ে বাইর করে ফেলবো। কি আছে বাইর কর?
কিচ্ছু নেই।
দে দে, আর কি লুকালি? দে 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 দে।
হ্যাঁ দোস্ত, ওই যে প্র্যাঙ্ক বাজ, ওই যে কি জানি একটা ছেলে আছে না ফালতু, সারাক্ষণ মানুষকে ধোকা দিয়ে বেড়ায়, ওকে চিনিস তুই?
হ্যাঁ, চিনবো না কেন? ওকে না চিনার কি আছে? ওকে চিনা না এমন কেউ আছে?
এই শিখেছি ধরে 50 কি টেলিলেন্স নাকি? হ্যাঁ, 85 ইউজ করবি, দরকার পড়লে তোর আমি 70-200 কিনা দিব।
তুই টেনশন করিস না। হ্যাঁ,
কোনো চোর না, চুরি না, ডাকাতি না, এটা প্র্যাঙ্ক ছিল, টোটালি প্র্যাঙ্ক। প্র্যাঙ্ক শিখাইছে উস্তাদ। কেমন হলো প্র্যাঙ্ক? এটা সত্যি সত্যি প্র্যাঙ্ক ছিল, আমি ক্ষমা চাচ্ছি, সত্যি সত্যি প্র্যাঙ্ক ছিল। এ ভাই দেখেন দেখেন দেখেন, কালোই তো করবো। আরে আপনি তো এমনিতেই সুন্দর।
বাবাকে সালাম কর, আরেকবার সালাম কর। আমার বিয়ে করা বউ, তোমাদের বৌমা।
আমি আসছি তো, আমি সব ঠিক করে ফেলবো। তুমি বসো, বসো তো, এখানে বসো, আমি দেখছি। আন্টি, আঙ্কেল,
কেন তুই এরকম মেয়ে লোকটাকে বিয়ে করলি?
মা স্টপ ইট, এইভাবে কথা বলতেছো কেন? হ্যাঁ, মানুষকে ছোট করে কথা বলো কেন? শোনো, আমি তোমার বিয়ের আগে ছবি দেখছি, তুমি যে খুব আহামরি সুন্দর ছিল না আমি জানি। বিয়ের পর
আমি এত কথা শুনতে চাই না, আজকে থেকে লাইফস্টাইল ফুল অফ।
আমার ফোনটা তোমরা কেন এরকম করলো? আমার ফোনটার মধ্যে কত ইম্পর্টেন্ট জিনিস ছিল জানো? সুইট সুইট রেডি, ইটস সুন্দরী মেয়ে আসতেছে, সুন্দরী মেয়েরে ভয় দেখানোর মজাই অন্যরকম। 20 মিনিট দেরি হয়েছে, হ্যাঁ মানে আই এম রিয়েলি সরি। আর কখনো এরকম হয় না, এত জ্যাম ছিল, জাস্ট 20 মিনিট লেট হয়েছে। আর কখনো আই এম রিয়েলি সরি, অনেক জ্যাম ছিল।
সরি মানে হু আর ইউ? কে আপনি? হ্যাঁ কি চাচ্ছেন বলেন তো? সকালে একবার প্র্যাঙ্ক করেছেন, এখন একবার করছেন। আসলে কে পাঠিয়েছে আপনাকে? কি চাচ্ছেন সত্যি করে বলেন। আপনি কিন্তু আমাকে হ্যারাস করছেন।
ও মাই গড, আইফোন 13 প্রো ম্যাক্স। মাল্টু আছে তাইলে, দেখি মাল্টু বের করুন। এই ব্যাগ দেন। ওদিন প্র্যাঙ্ক করছি, ভালো লাগে না তাই না? হ্যাঁ
ও তো ইউটিউবার, এই যে কি সব অদ্ভুত প্র্যাঙ্ক করে বেড়ায় মানুষের সাথে। কেন কি হয়েছে বলতো? হঠাৎ ওর কথা জিজ্ঞেস করতেছিস?
কি হয়েছে? আমি ওকে খুন করে ফেলবো। আই শুড পানিশ হিম।
ঠিক আছে, এইসব কমেন্ট তো আসা যাবে না। ম্যাক্সের ভিডিও ম্যান, রেজুলেশন হইতে হবে হাই কোয়ালিটি, 4K হবে এবং কোনো প্রকার
এক্সকিউজ মি,
শোরের উপর বাটপারি রে।
সো আসল শাস্তি হয়েছে, চলো বাই। আমি কিছু না, প্র্যাঙ্কি সব কিছু। ওই প্র্যাঙ্কিটা তো আমি ধ্বংস করেই ছাড়বো, বুঝলি?
আরে মাথা এত গরম করিস না।
একদম পারফেক্ট, এটাই তো চেয়েছিলাম। ম্যাক্স আর ম্যাক্সের মা তো অজ্ঞান হয়ে যাবে। আপনি এত সুন্দর আপু, আপনাকে দেখে তোরা সবাই খুশি হয়ে যাবে, সেটা আমি চাই।
দেখো তোমাদের জন্য কি নিয়ে এসেছি।
আচ্ছা তুই এরকম জামাইয়ের পোশাক পরে আছিস কেন?
সারপ্রাইজ।
এই 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 মেয়েকে এই
ওগো, কতদিন ধরে তোমার লগে আমি কথা কইতাছি, মাগার
কি করো নাইকা? হ্যাঁ আরো থেকে অনেক পর থেকে কি করতেছো? ফোনের ভিতরে হান্দায় রয়েছো।
আব্বাই তো মা গো মা, আব্বাই তো দেখি হেভি পাঙ্খ।
হুম, নিশ্চয়ই কোনো ভেজাল আছে। ওই দেখি কার লগে ফিল্ডিং মারতে।
কি আবার সকাল সকাল ঘুম ভালো হইছে, তোমার আব্বার লগে দেখা কইরা এলাম, হাইটটা গেছিলাম, এই ঘটনা।
তুমি রাগ করো না।
রাখতে তুমি করবা, খাড়া খাড়া চা দাও।
আমি তো ভাবছি ডাকাত পড়ছে নি।
এই শাহজাহানগর বাড়িতে ডাকাত আইব এমন কোন মায়ালাল পয়দা হইছে নি? তোমার বিছানা আমি ভিজায়া দিছি গা।
এটা তুমি কি করছো?
কি করছি, ঘুমাইবা না? তোমার পূর্বপুরুষের মাথায় কি সমস্যা ছিল আব্বা?
ওর নাটকের পর কয় কি শুনছো? ওই বেটা
আব্বা জান, আপনার পোলার এখন জিগান্ত রুটি গরম না ঠান্ডা?
বাপ রে বাপ, শুনছো নি? একেবারে ডর দেয় তো বলে খুশি খুশি করে কাটতো হয়েছে। আপনার ডর আপনার পকেটে থুয়া দেন।
খানদানটা আমার কত উচ্চা দেখতে হইব না?
দেখতেছি তো, উঁচা ভি আর লম্বা ভি কুচি কুচি করে না কাইটা ফেলাইছি আব্বা। আমার তো মনে করে যখন ডর দেখাইতে দেখাইতে আমি দেখেন আপনি কি করি। ঘরে আইলাম না, এখন দেন না আসমানে ঠাড়া লাহান একেবারে কাঁপায়া দিমু।
আচ্ছা আপনার
Is that popcorn I smell? Room 114. Bring $1. Garlic cheddar just dropped. So this kid's school had a rule where you couldn't sell anything during school hours or on school grounds. And he wanted to start a business like many people do because it's the frickin' hustle, baby. Well, one year he got something for Christmas. It was a mini popcorn machine. So one day he brought it into school. It wasn't the big carnival one, it was one of those mini ones that you could put on a countertop. Well, on this day, he left it in the back of this empty classroom. The one that nobody used anymore. and he had an extension cord running from the popcorn machine to an outlet. Nobody noticed. And then he made signs to pass out. Free popcorn. Suggested donation $1. Room 114. At lunch, he'd leave the door open just enough, so people could smell the popcorn as they were walking towards the room. He had everything. He had cups, he had flavors, cheddar, garlic, ranch, even sweet chili. And what was genius was that he wasn't technically selling anything, so he couldn't really get in trouble. It's just popcorn. I offer it and they donate. Business boomed. He had his friends standing around the hallway and going through the lunchroom telling them that room 14 has free popcorn. He even had Tabasco sauce packets to level it up. And if you guys never put hot sauce in your popcorn, you're severely missing out. It is a snack, I'm telling you. They started calling room 14 the Pop Shack. Now, teachers did start to notice this, mostly because of the smell. Eventually, the principal tracked it down and headed to room 114. What is this? Free popcorn. Suggested donation $1. You want some? The vice principal paused. He looked around. There was even a tip jar. He was impressed. Honestly, smells pretty good. Yeah, I'll take a cup of this sweet chili, and then you guys can just carry on. Here's a $5. That was that. They let him keep doing what he was doing. The only rules were this: no smoke, no fire, and no mess. And they had to have a teacher nearby to check in every so often, which they all agreed to. That was very reasonable. And by the end of the year, this kid had earned over $600 in donations. That is legendary behavior.